Hello and welcome in the practical JavaScript hands-on training session. So in this particular session, we will be talking about like how practically you will be implementing the functions. Okay. So these are the requirements which are in front of you. These requirements I'm going to, write, and we are going to use the function concept over here. But before we go into the actual development part, let me just give you some reference that you need to read before you actually should go to this particular session. So let us open this thing. Now this is the documentation which is available again on MDN site. Okay, now see here what exactly the function is and what is the utility of this function. So a function is a JavaScript procedure, a set of statements that perform a task or calculate a value. To use a function, you must define it somewhere in the scope from which you wish to call it, right? So if you can see this particular definition, you might be understanding it very clearly that this function is used to perform set of statements, okay? And these statements are going to be utilized again and again. So it is better approach that you use the function for that case. So this particular document is again a very detailed document and very good document that you should always go through this, and you should understand certain things from here, because I am going to use this function concept in my application so that you will be understanding how exactly these concepts will be utilized. But if you would like to take few extra information from here, you are welcome, right? You can just go here and you can read about these. So how you will be defining the function, it is available over here. What is function expression? Okay, these things are very important. You should know this thing. How to call the function, this particular thing is given over here. Function scope, what is function scope? Basically these things are actually very important concepts. So I will suggest you that take some extra time, try to read this particular document and try to understand certain things by yourself. Okay, the important thing I would like to show you here, which you should never miss and you should always read this thing, this closure you should always read, right? Closure is very important concept in the JavaScript that on an advanced level you will be definitely requiring this. Another important concept that you should always remember and you should always go through this, and this is the arrow function. This arrow function is again very important concept. So read this whenever you have enough time, free time, read this particular document. Okay, so I'm just closing this and let us see that how you are going to implement these things. So before I actually implement, now what will be happening in this particular case, we will be creating the actual application into this. And now my purpose of creating this particular thing is basically you should know how to write actual code. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm using the bracket tool. You can use any tool whatever you like, but here I'm just comfortable with this, that's why I'm using this bracket tool. So as you can see here, what I have done, basically I have created the issue tracker project. Inside the issue tracker project or a folder, I have created three different folders, that is CSS, images, JS and index.html file. So inside the JS we will be having script.js. So all the code related to the JavaScript I will be putting inside the script.js, and all my UI related code will be available on the index.js. So let us first write certain things and you will be understanding what basically I am looking for and what basically I am talking about. So okay, so let us see these things. These are the shortcuts. Even if you would like to see this particular thing, like how I am using the shortcuts and all those things, look for the Zen coding on Google and you will be understanding, right? So there are certain plugins that you can add with your application and you can take the advantage of this Zen coding. So now see this particular thing here. So basically I'm creating an issue tracker application. So the name of my application is going to be the issue tracker. Fine. Now inside this I would like to create one section. Inside the div I will be having h1, and just inside this I will be creating issue tracker app, okay, using vanilla JS, HTML and CSS. So when I'm talking about vanilla JS, it is plain JavaScript I'm talking about, right? It is not any kind of variant. It is just a way of saying the plain JavaScript as a vanilla JavaScript. Okay. So this is what we are going to create. Now see, if you are going to use the JavaScript, then definitely you will be requiring this JavaScript on your application, on your index.js page. So how you will be adding the JavaScript? Again, it is simple. You use the script over here, and you will be providing the src, that is source. So what is going to be the source? It is JavaScript. Inside this we have this script. Okay, now here we need to specify the type as well. So type is going to be text and JavaScript, right? So this thing you need to add. Now let us do one thing. Let me run this particular code and let me see what will be happening with this. So I can go over here and I can run this index.html page. So when I run, you can see over here this issue tracker app using JS and HTML CSS is available, and this issue tracker is coming here, which I have provided inside the title. Now let's open the console window here. Okay, now go on to the network and try to understand what all things are going to be loaded once I hit this particular URL. So if I hit this, now you will be understanding that you are not getting any problem over here while this page is loaded, and with this index.html, script.js file is also loaded. Right, so whatever you will be writing inside the script now, that you can check on the console part. So let us do this particular thing first, and slowly we will be understanding. Okay, so let me come over here and let me just open the JS file, and here I can do one thing. I am just writing the issues. So how you had created the issues? You had created the issues like this. Okay, so this is going to be an array. Now here you can say issue 1, issue 2, and issue 3. Okay, once these things are available, just save it. And okay, what is the error it is showing me? Issues is assigned a value but never used. Okay, we will be using these things later on, don't worry. But let us go over here and let us reload this and try to display the issues over here. Now as you can see, we have these issues which we have already created, right? So these issues are basically coming from this JavaScript file. So now the next thing is we need to focus onto the requirements now. What is the requirement? It is saying that it should have a way to add an issue in the issues list using function. So how you will be adding the issue in the issue list, right? So issue list we have already created. So now let us see how you will be adding the issues. So what you can do with this? Okay, so here you will be creating one function. We have already understood these things. Add issue, this is going to be the name of the issue. Then you will be saying that you will be providing one issue over here, right? Now what you want to do, you want to add this provided issue inside this issues. So how do we add the data inside the variable or data inside the array? This we will be using with the help of issues.push method, right? Now this push method is what you will be pushing this particular data. So this data you can copy from here and you will be providing here. Now the next thing is issue will be created, but the problem is you will not be able to see that whether issue would have been created or not. So for that particular case, I am just taking my next requirement, that is display the issue. So how do we display this particular issue? Function, and we'll say display issue. Okay, display issues. And here we don't need to give any argument into this because it is just going to display the data. So it is console.log, and you will be providing here my issues, and here just say issues. Okay, so these are the issues that you are going to display. Now what you can do, you will be requiring this particular function and again and again. So you can call this function over here. Once this function is called, right, now you can see this issue would have been removed, and there are certain other things that we will be managing later on. But you can see over here that how these functions will be utilized. Now let us go back here. Let me just reload this page, and now see what are the okay, let us write this display issue method, and let us see how many issues are available basically. So as you can see, you have 3 issues available. Now what you need to do, you will be adding one issue over here, and once this issue will be added into the list, this display method is called inside. As you can see over here, this display method we are calling over here, right? So what should happen in this particular case, it should be displaying the added issue at the same time when I'm adding this. So what I mean to say, I'm using this add issue method, and let's say I'm saying here new issue. Okay, once this is done, and if you just hit enter, now see what is happening basically. Now this new issue is added over here. So my 2 requirements are done. First is I was creating the issues, and I have just added the issue into this. Now what is the next requirement, that I would like to change the issue, right? Let us see which is the next requirement. So our next requirement is it should have a way to change the issue in the issues list using function. So how you are going to make the changes into this? Okay, now it is again very simple. What you will be doing, you will be creating one method. Again I'm just copy pasting, and now here you will be saying change issue. Okay, let me just write this in a small case, change issue. Now how do you change the issue? What things will be required in this particular case? You will be requiring the position and the new issue that you want to change. Okay, so you will be requiring the position over here and the new issue. Now see what you need to do. Now you need to take this particular thing, like from the issues you will be providing the position over here. This is the position, and on this particular position what value you want to assign. So this is the new value that you want to assign on this particular position. Okay, now once this is done, and if the change issue is successfully implemented, then it is going to display the data. So let us see this and try to understand. Now very first, display issues. This is the method. So right now I have display issues. It is showing me 3, right? Now let me change this particular data. So this is the change issue, and inside the change issue you need to provide the position. So position is 0 on 0th index. This is the 0th position. Now this is the first position. So if you want to change the second thing, then you need to say 1, and what you need to change on this particular position, right? So let us do one thing. Let me just write over here changed issue. Now once you will run this, now see that particular issue would have been changed. Okay, now let us move on to the next requirement, that is the last one. It should have a way to delete an issue from the issues list using function. So let us go over here and try to work on this particular requirement. So again I will copy this method, and we can say delete issue. Now how you will be deleting the issue? So basically you need to provide the position and the number of values that you would be deleting. So that number of items I don't need to provide from here, because basically whenever this delete method will be called, it is going to delete the item based on the position. Okay, so how it happens, basically you will be using the issues variable, and from this issues variable you need to use the splice method, and inside the splice method you will be providing the position from where you want to delete this. Okay, and the number of items that you want to delete. So this way all my requirements are completed. Let me check this thing as well. So let me just run the display issues method. Now it is giving you all these things. Now let us try for delete issue, and I'm just providing the 1. Okay, Now see how many items are available over here. So as you can see, we are able to work on these things, and this way whatever kind of code you have created, now here you understand that you have created one global issues variable, and you are managing all these things, all the functionalities with the help of function itself, right? So I hope you will be understanding this. The important part is that the documentation that I have given to you, if you really want to understand these concepts into very well, then you will have to go on to the documentations part that I have provided to you. Once complete it, and later on you will be understanding many things. Okay, so with this I think we are done, and we'll be meeting on to the next requirement. Thank you very much.